Good morning and welcome to Tabletop 24. I'm Alan.
And I'm Barry, also known as Baz the Bard.
And you obviously have seen us potentially before, and we are here down at Manascrew today to cover the Proquest Season 2. So, as you can probably hear, players are just about getting briefed now, so we should be getting underway with round 1 potentially in the next 10 to 15 minutes. But what can we expect to see from everything today, Barry?
Well, going by previous Proquests that have happened, LSS have released their information from the week 1. So most represented heroes, first one is Prism, then it's Starvo, then it's Chain. Making those into the top 8, that is Prism, then Chain, then Starvo, and actually winning is Chain, Starvo, and then Prism. So they kind of like just move around, you know, depending on which figures you crunch. But last week for UK, for Proquest, we had 2 Chain winners and 2 Starvo winners. So yeah, you know, the meta is going Chain and Starvo. How that relates to this week, so if we look at yesterday, which I've made my list, so Canterbury, they had 6 Prism players. That was the most represented hero. They had 5 Lexi, 4 Chain. That's the top 3. How that went into the top 8 for them was there was 3 Starvo players. So all the Starvo players from Canterbury made it into the top 8. You had 2 Chain, Prism, Briar, and a Katsu. And then that was finally won by Finbar, or also known as Stillfur, by Prism, which was Joni's deck. He's done a deck tech for it, which was Fatigue Prism. Okay, so Geek Retreat in Leeds, the top 3 heroes that represented their tournament there was 4 Lexi, there was 4 Starvo, and there was 3 Chain. How that translated into the top 8 is 2 Lexi, 2 Starvo, 1 Prism, a Levia, a Chain, and an Olden, and that was won by Rob Catton and Chain. Dice Cup in Nottingham. So the top 3 represented heroes was 3 Chain, 2 Prism, 2 Starvo. The top 4 for that was 2 Prism, 1 Starvo, and 1 Chain. So all the Prism made it through. There was a Prism mirror for the final, and that was won by Darren Hazelden. So a lot of players know him from L5R, and he's a really good player. Board in the City from Southampton. I don't have any figures on that. They haven't shared their breakdown of the heroes, but that was won by Francesco Giorgio on Starvo, and he is here today. He's had a little bit of sleep. He's had to travel sort of like 3.5 hours to get to us, but he's here.
Just feels our battle hardened as well.
He was our battle hardened. He's still suffering from jet lag because he was in the battle hardened in the Pro Tour. But yeah, sleep's not a factor for Francesco. He thinks to thrive on being tired.
Yeah, so we are going to obviously see a few players that were over in Jersey, so that should be New Jersey, should we say. And obviously from the breakdown, and I've been out of the meta for a little while, but you can see a lot of players are trying to get onto Lexi, and obviously you can represent for Lexi very, very well at pro level. And I think people are trying to take that list or take a tweak on that list and really make something of it. But I think you've got to really know that hero, and I think when you do, it goes.
Yeah, the thing is, she is an amazing Ranger player. You know, and when you look at that list, people are going to copy that list. Of course they are. You know, when she came on the Pro Tour screen, everyone was really excited to see it. You know, it was just like the excitement for seeing Ranger was amazing, and everyone has basically picked that list up. But she made the list. She knows exactly what card does what. Yes, she's done a deck tech, but she's the architect of that list.
Yeah. You know? And probably got more hours on that list than anybody else. Totally. So, Chain, has that now replaced Viscera?
Seems to. Viscera's taken a hit because of Skeletor. Chain, you know, we saw Pablo Pintor, he won Pro Tour with it. People are picking up his list. Seeing Creepers used for the Tome of Findel. Oh, fantastic move. I mean, that's what people want to copy. Gives him a little bit of a health boost. Gives him some cards back. It helps fight against the fatigue nature that you would normally combat Chain against. So yeah, it's you know, Chain's the new boogeyman. But saying that, if we go back, and look at living legend points. So Starvo's gone. Everybody knows that. Everybody cheered when it went. You know,
fantastic idea, fantastic homage to the hero. But like, I think everybody just got.
Yeah, it was nice that he went out at the big tournament as well. But yeah, people can still pick him, you know, up until Uprising or up until the banned and suspended list, which is like the same day. But Chain, so the Living Legend was updated on the 16th of May, so that he is on 808 points. So if we look at the next 4 weeks, he literally needs to pick up 52 points a week. You know, that's only 13 wins. He did it this week. He did it the previous week. So with the amount of tournaments that are going on, there's no reason to think that Chain is not going to make Living Legend at the end of this ProQuest season, which, you know, you just go, everyone will just switch to Briar because Viscerai's not really cutting the mustard. But Briar, you know, the Earth element, yeah, the Lightning one, Cheerios, you know, generic, whatever you want to call it, that got nerfed, but the Channel Mount Heroic Earth build has not really been touched that much, and that is a fantastic build. So I think everybody just jumped.
It's just a bit slower, and I think you've got those big hits in there, and it just tends to be that little bit slower. And obviously with the Go Again chain,
yeah,
it's got that on top.
The thing is, she really turns it on. If she gets a Channel Mount Heroic out, you're just like, oh my god, the damage potential is just increased. If you can get a Force of Nature fuse with it as well, it's bonkers. And Brendan Patrick showed that off. You know, that was you know, way back in Nationals last year. You know, he really went for that. So, yeah, so Prism, she's had some good wins. You know, she's had 2 wins this week in the UK. She's on 640, so she'll be punching up to nearly Living Legends, whether or not she'll make it. But she's, you know, so close to being there. But then, hopefully, you know, everyone will jump on Tremai and leave Prism alone for them.
Yeah. And that's obviously the other thing. We've got these 3 new, well, I say 3 new, 2 new heroes and Icelander back.
An updated Icelander.
Yeah. It's quite interesting, obviously, to know that LSS are going to go there and actually, I know we've seen Bravo and Bravo style the show, but actually they've reworked Icelander from the Everfest match. So
yeah, it'd be nice to move her into an adult form.
Yeah.
And see it come through, and then people have got a choice between Kano or Icelander, and we've seen Kano do really well in the Pro Tour. Whether or not he is the new Metacal, because of lack of Arcane Barrier or Spell Void, people don't really take it because they're not expecting him. But, you know, yeah, it's a good choice. You know, whether or not we see any today, whether or not people have packed extra Arcane Barrier, you know, to cover somebody taking in Kano. But Kano's you really need to practice it with him. I just look at Kano and he just baffles me, you know, and I watched that Pro Tour stream and I just went, I've no idea what you're doing. He's proper magic, you know, and if you know how to do it, all kudos to you because you deserve the win.
Yeah.
But yeah, it will be good to see another hero that you can take, you know, and the health differential between, you know, a starting hero, a normal starting hero, we shall say, at 40, to Icelander is not as much as what it is for Kano and losing.
Another wizard in the field then makes you go, well, actually, I do need to take that Arcane Barrier. I do need that there because you might get Icelander, you might get Kano, and potentially you could get both. So I think it's going to really change the meta when we see that.
But it's whether or not those Starvo players now are packing Shock Charmers because they saw how good Shock Charmers was in the Pro Tour battling against the Kano. Whether or not that actually transfers to Proquest, I don't know. Yeah, going by the few meta breakdowns we've had in the UK, I didn't see any Kano players. But, you know, you've got to put the time in. And if people have put time into Starvo, you know what I mean? It's a totally different kettle of fish. Starvo pretty much runs itself, you know. It does. But Kano doesn't. You know, it's a whole new big brain thinking for Kano.
Yeah. So the other thing, obviously, you may have heard, we're probably looking around the mid-30s for player count today. What the hero representation, I'm not quite sure. I think we will see the big 3. So Prism, Chain, and Starvo.
Yeah, totally. They're going around the tables up there. I've seen a lot of Lexi. It'd be interesting to see how many Lexi players there are. But you know, just going round, I've seen them. You know, and there are staunch Ranger players here today. You know, from the UK. And as soon as I saw them, I was like, "You're on Ranger still?" And they were like, "Yeah."
And the other thing is, obviously, I think what we need to mention is that we've got probably a really strong representation in players as well. I think a lot of players have commented on how strong the field's probably going to be today.
Yeah, we got a good field. There's some battle-hardened winners, you know, and like I said, we've got the Proquest winner in Francesco from yesterday. He won the battle hardened that we covered Leeds, you know, Royal Armoury for Living Realms. Yeah, there's some good names and people who are already going, blimey, okay, there's some good UK players here today. So it's going to be a hard fought event. Yeah, and a lot of players have travelled from Southampton. So they had a long day yesterday. Whether or not tiredness is a factor, but like I said, Francesco thrives off that.
Yeah, and we've got another couple of weeks Proquest as well, so there's going to be a lot of players going through there, looking to get their hands on another invite. And obviously, it's more important potentially for the UK players for this invite because of where the Pro Tour 2 is going to be held.
Yeah, it's not far away. It's only in France, in Lille. It is literally Channel Tunnel, and that is like the first stop is Lille. Get off, massive shopping centre. You know, chill out, get to your place, get to the call-in. It's a fantastic location for people from the UK to go. So yeah, they're outgunning to get there.
Yeah, and that's going to be interesting to see how many there. And I think it'd be nice to see quite a number of UK players represented there. I think potentially some people have held back from Proquest 1 just purely because of the flights to the US.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, when you look at the amount of players that went to Pro Tour, you know, you just go, if we go back to UK nationals, you know, internationally, players just went, okay, UK players don't seem that great. But we went to, you know, those players from the UK that qualified for the Pro Tour, half of them made it into day 2. That's how much our skill level has gone up. You know what I mean? I mean, there's no reason why, you know, that can't translate into the calling in Lille and doing well again.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully, you know, no disrespect, you know, no US player is going to come over and steal the European glory. But then again, you know that's what happens in the Pro Tour, isn't it? Europeans take over again.
I mean, we did run the Learn to Play Nationals, so it's good to see a lot of the UK players really getting to grips with the game, obviously on a very competitive level. So it's really good to see those players out there, and hopefully we'll see some of those that will be going on into that Pro Tour 2, and looking forward to some really competitive play today.
Yeah, but we've had some seasoned Magic players who are used to Pro Tour, like, you know, I say about Francesco, he's a Pro Tour player for Magic. David Calf, Rob Catton, they're all massive Magic players. Johnny Chapman, he's not here today, but you know, it's really big Magic players, and they're used to the big events.
So we're just doing the final checks on player count, and I need to go away and get some of the list of heroes for players so we can at least get you that information as early as possible. We're going to have a few new updates throughout the day on the stream, so I'm trying out a few new things, so bear with me to make sure that they work, but also hopefully it will keep you a bit more informed, a bit more regularly than we have done before. As many of you know, it is me behind the scenes, him in front of the scenes, and we do as much as we can with just the two of us. So hopefully it will improve it. But as always, if you've got anything that you want us to add or look at or change, we're adding everything to every stream that we do. So do let us know on there. If the information we're giving you is good, give us a thumbs up. If it needs a bit of work, let us know. If there's other bits that you want us to look at, obviously let us know there. So stay with us. We should hopefully be live with the first round in about 10 minutes. I think they're just doing final player checks now. So
we will try and stay away from mirrors.
As always.
Yeah, nobody wants to see a mirror, especially a Starvo one. My first pick for game 1, it turned out the player was Starvo, so I was like, thank you very much. I think we'll skip that and I'll move on to somebody else.
Come back later.
So we have a Prism. David Calf's coming on, hopefully, depending on if his opponent gives the green light. So yes, definitely, well, should be, fingers crossed, Prism versus someone else.
So hopefully, not Starvo. Yeah. So stay tuned with us, and we'll be back with you as soon as we can. All right. Okay then, so you've had 2 rounds, 2 draws on camera.
2 long games.
2 long games, and we normally obviously, well, Barry normally grabs somebody mid-round, but it's been a bit difficult.
That's been a bit difficult. There's a lot of control packages coming in. We saw Starvo Control kind of enter it at the end of the first Proquest. Obviously, it's gained popularity through Pro Tour, and people are now trying it, you know, going forward. But yeah, I mean, the players weren't particularly playing very slow. It's just a slower game because there's defence reactions, and it's literally, yeah, I'll defend with my hand, come in for 4, whether or not they get an ice off or not, you know. It depends on the card draw, but when both players are playing ice, you know, and as we saw there, frostbites, okay, Oscar missed a lot of triggers on his frostbites, but when they've both got Channel 8 frigid out, it kind of just slows the game down because you've got to try and reassess their hands then it's either, yeah, okay, I'll just pass Arsenal and pass, build up build up what I can do for next turn, or you're paying a penalty. But yeah, it's definitely slowing the game down.
Yeah, so obviously what we will do now is we are going to jump over and have a quick look at how things are looking for our heroes. So hopefully I've done all this all right. This is our hero breakdown from today. So we've got 35 players, and by probably no surprise to anybody is Bravo. But I think what the surprise for us is probably Lexi.
It's Lexi, yeah. Thing is, I mean, this is not really the norm for the UK over the past, last week and what we've seen on Saturday. Bravo has not been, the best pick. Although that's a bit silly to say, the best pick. He's not been the most popular pick, we shall say. He's gone from being massively popular. We would have seen at least half the field being Starvo. Now people are, picking different options. Whether or not because of Awakening and Autumn Touch going, they think, they've got a better chance.
And I think a lot of people were trying to try different techs with Starvo.
Yeah.
And I think now they've got to a point where potentially, obviously, with him hitting Living Legend, there's no real point in teching because he's going. And I know he's still viable for now, but he's not going to be there for much longer. And what's the point in putting the sort of testing time into that?
But he's still a popular pick. If you're after a PTI, he's a popular pick to get there. You know what I mean? It's one of the best shots. But the problem is with Starvo now, you've either got Control Starvo or Aggro Starvo, or there's even a casino build. It's like, well, which Starvo are you going with? And what's the most consistent?
Consistency is key with that deck.
Yeah,
very consistent. And I think, again, the other surprise is Prism.
Yeah.
So you always mention the north-south divide in the UK for Prism and stuff.
Yeah. Prism used to be. If you're sort of like London and South, that's going to be a Prism pick. Midlands was always the melting point, the melting pot. Sorry, if you were up north, you were playing Starvo. If you come to the Midlands where we are, that's the melting pot, and it's just like. It's very hard. If you were coming here to the melting pot, you're just like, well, what heroes is it going to be? We've seen that in the breakdown. 8 Starvo, 7 Lexi. You would have thought, okay, we're going to see Prism, we're going to see Chain, we're going to see, Starvo. That's what I would have expected.
Yeah, more brighter than Chain as well.
Yeah, indeed. But I said when I walked around, I was like, blimey, there's a lot of Lexi.
Yeah.
Whether or not, yes, there are some Yuki builds. Oscar was on one. Just there. But like we said, I missed a lot of triggers.
Yeah, there's a lot there, and I think we mentioned this earlier with Yuki's build on Lexi. You really got to know what you're doing. There's a lot going on in that build, and there's a lot of counters out. He's almost like a mechanologist with all the counters out and all this stuff because you've got to sequence it right. And
you've got to track it. But this is the problem, Yuki built it. She played it. She played it really well in Pro Tour. She knows how to play that deck inside and out. Some of these players are literally picking up the deck. Play maybe for a week and just gone, right, okay, I'll take it because it looks strong. But it's just like they haven't put the time into it, and that's where you can see the triggers being missed.
Yes, and that's a very interesting point actually. We've got to a maturity in the game now where I think net decking is prevalent more and more and more.
Yeah.
And we've got these people that are going to the Pro Tour that are defining a meta, and there's a lot of people picking up on that. So we've got a lot of players across the world now that are picking up with this sort of going, well, I can get the cards, I'm going to build that, and putting the time into the.
Yeah, but it's still the meta is still in a flux. Since that banned and suspended, it's still in a flux. Yeah, Pro Tour was a big showcase for what could happen. And it's whether or not people are picking up Pablo Pintor's chain deck. It's whether or not people are picking up Yuki's deck. Starvo, yeah, he got there with Mateus, but it's just like, okay, there's a few builds. It's kind of like it's good. Yeah. Because we're kind of like we're in a semi-fresh meta before sort of like Uprising starts. But yeah, people are going to net deck and potentially not have the time to put things in.
Yes.
But that's all we were saying. There's no Kano. People haven't put the time into Kano. There's no Kano today.
Yeah, and that's it. I think obviously there are a few notable sort of misses on there. 2 Azalea, probably. You've got those stalwart Azalea players.
Yeah, Nathan's playing another Nathan. He's playing Azalea, and he went absolutely bonkers on his close friend Rob Emery. He just absolute fire. So it's whether or not Rob actually wants to give him a lift home now.
So obviously we've spoke about the players then. So let's have a quick look. So these are your top 30. We'll have a look at the bottom 5 in a second to give them a bit of a shout out. Hopefully you've seen on the ticker tape on the transition screens with us trying to keep that as updated as possible. Yeah, we've got 6 players with draws. So we've seen 2 of them. There's another another couple out in the field. So
Yeah, Maciek in 18th place, he drew his first game. That was against Stavo. He said he nearly had it, but he just run out of time. But yeah, Matthew Baxter, he plays at the store. You've probably seen him on the Baz the Bar channel. Was usually rocking Levia. He's now got Reinhardt. He's absolutely loving it. And he smashed out George Roger on the first round, sorry. It took about 2 or 3 turns. It was done. We went Alpha Rampage and Virgin beat down. It was just, intimidate a hand and then absolutely smash George was on Starvo for 6.
I mean, the other thing is, like, you're picking up here, and we're only round 2, so we're going to see a lot more go on with these games, particularly where we start seeing the top end of the table meeting each other. But you've got down to the top 6 are all on different heroes.
Yeah.
Which is quite nice. And in the top 10, you've got 7 different heroes. So it's quite a diverse field out there. Even though Starvo, there are a lot of Starvo. Actually, at the bottom of
Yeah, but there's plenty of time. Michael Bone on Dash, he's literally just stepped back into the game after 3 months out, and he's just picked up Dash, and he's going for it. You know, fresh perspective, and just see how we roll. And he's doing really well, 2 wins. Yeah.
So just obviously, we will give them a brief shout out. Is those trailing at the bottom end of the table? So obviously, unfortunately, I believe all of these are on 2 at the moment.
Yeah.
Hopefully, they'll be picking up some wins. I think another loss could see them out of the top 8 cut, which is a shame.
But you know what I mean? You take your packs, you play some games, you have a good giggle, you're part of the community. Just because you're at the bottom of the table, some of those are actually the friendliest games you're ever going to play. You know, you're at the bottom of the table, what's the matter? You have a giggle.
Have a bit of a learn as well.
And you just make new friends.
Yeah, and we've pointed back to this earlier on in the day, but there's a lot of strength in the field today, and I think we've seen players particularly that would maybe pick up a couple of wins might have struggled a little bit so far already as well.
Yeah.
So there's some people going out for some scalps today, I think. Yeah,
there's some decks are just casino rolling, you know, into it. We've had a Briar match that I heard, you know, got out 2 channel Mount Heroics, which is crazy. You know, and that was snatch for 10, and it's just like, yeah, all right, cheers, shake his hand, off you go.
Yeah, you've done that. So we are hopefully going to get our next rare poundings round pairings up in about 2 or 3 minutes. So we'll be back shortly with our round 3, and we'll hopefully this time it could be a draw.
Yeah, hopefully we shall see.
Yeah. So stay tuned with us, and we'll be back with you shortly. All right.
Bye.
Hello and welcome back. I'm with Mark, owner, proprietor, and general dog's body of Manascrew. We can thank him today for today's tournament. So how's it been going for you so far?
Very good, actually. It all started this morning with a little bit of a tidy up, which we said, well, Alan said, what should we say on camera? And we said, oh, we tidied up. These boys did a very good job for it. And I've now got a much more open space in this. So that's one thing that has come up today. It's been nice to have met some of the chaps that have come down that play at Living Realms as well. So that's I did shout out to those guys there, and of course many others that have also been, including a lot of our locals today as well. So,
yeah, the local guys are doing actually really quite well. I think overall, I think we could potentially see a couple of them up there.
Yeah, we've seen a few on stream and with the tables and things. So yeah, all good.
It's all good. So obviously, you may remember way back when our first ever stream was actually here at Manascrew.
Oh yeah, I remember way back when.
Way back when, cool. Yeah. So our first stream was here, so obviously you've got Mark Bent for us to actually be in here as well. So which has been really good to give us an opportunity to get streaming, and obviously we've covered a lot more events from there. So
Alan keeps buying new toys, and every time Alan buys a new toy, I find out about it, I get a link, and then I buy the new toy as well. So I've got a pretty nice little setup with lights and a camera and things now as well. And it's Alan. Yeah.
It's genuinely everything I've purchased, I think you've picked up one way or another as we go.
Yeah.
So how is the festival scene going for you in the local store?
The armories are fantastic. We are getting 16, 18 plus players each week, which is nice that players are coming through on the Thursdays, should you be around and in the vicinity and wants to come play a bit of competitive flesh and blood here at Manascrew, 52 Sheep Street, NN1 2LZ, for that one there. Am I looking at the right camera?
Yeah, that one.
It is that one. Right, awesome. Yeah, it's because we've got a screen on here as well, and I'm trying to look at the screen without. Yeah, all the time, and it's yeah, it goes further into stupid mode, I guess, with that one. But yeah, awesome.
Yeah. So obviously, like I say, they've got the armorers down here on a Thursday, which I think everybody kind of enjoys. That's grown, and there was a time where it was like 4 to 6 of us, and now obviously, like you say, getting 16 to 20 on a week, and the guys all do a semi-competitive league for months.
Yeah, and the Baz the Bard has the YouTube set up because Barry's just standing over there at the moment, so we'll give him a little shout as we're on with this here. But Baz has his the recordings that we do each week as well, so we get 4 rounds at Manascrew's Armories on the Thursdays, 52 Sheep Street, and then 1 to LZ. Yeah.
So obviously we will be looking to hopefully come back to you with more events from Manascrew. We do cover some of the other games that we have going on when we can. But Frozen Blood is our mainstay. So hopefully...
myself and Kurt, we were actually discussing options of things. I'll then have the discussion with Alan rather than just being on the camera now. And revelation is that. But we've come up with some ideas. Actually.
Yeah. Just transform the space. Show Mark new toys and get some more ideas.
It actually looks really tidy. It's great because it doesn't on previous, which I should have done that bit. But hey ho. Yeah, well, fun.
So hopefully Manascrew will receive a Road to Nationals. Hopefully it potentially will receive other events in the future. And we can be back down here.
This setup with all this is fantastic. It's really, really good. It's just...
Yeah, he's not just saying that because they play it. Well, maybe.
I am. But also because it does look fantastic. Yeah. Down here at 52 Sheep Street, Northampton. And then 1 to LZ.
Okay, I'll let him get back to being the TO. We've got about 5 minutes left until the start of round 5. We have got 6 rounds today, and then we go into a top cut. We've got some players doing a draft as well, potentially.
Yes. Yeah, that'll be a first edition draft of, I think we've got Monarch, we've got Tales of Aria, so just various little bits, and of course everybody will be going away with first edition Crucible of War pack today, which is all part of the entry flat price structure that we're doing here.
Yeah, and hopefully with the top 8 we'll get some news of the BTI, and we'll go from there. So
awesome.
Stay tuned, and we'll be back with you soon. There you go. Hello and welcome back. We are just about to go into our top 8, so I think it's just a bit of a roundup of who's who and where's where. So if I've got this right, this is your top 8 cut and their matchups. And we are going to get table 1 on, which we'll see Oliver versus Aaron.
Yeah.
So the room blade off.
Yeah, who is the best ring blade? Well, all 3 of them are in the cut, so something's going to be determined.
Yeah. So just obviously we've seen there which heroes they are playing, but just for prosperity really. And Starvo's conversion.
Yeah, the thing is, he's popular, he's a powerful deck, so, he converts well into, a top cut. Half the field made it through into the top cut. One of them's a mirror, so hopefully,
If you can see there, I have picked up the wrong graph, so apologies, that is a test graph, but the numbers are straight there. So we've got 4 Bravo Star of the Show, 1 Viceroy, 1 Dash, 1 Chain, and 1 Briar. So that's quite interesting. The final standings for everybody. And there, I think Alexis started off quite high. They tended to slip back.
Yeah, so, but we saw that in the stream. They can have those hands where they don't have an arrow, and then they can, just falter a little bit. We saw that with Dimitri. For the first 2 turns, he didn't pull an arrow. Then when he pulled an arrow, he didn't have a fuse, and it was just like he's stuttering here. And Viz got up, and Ollie absolutely smashed it. It's just the nature of Ranger, isn't it? You got to ride your luck sometimes. You want a fuse, you want an arrow, and sometimes your deck just don't help you out. But yeah, consistency is king. That's why Starvo places so high.
Yeah,
whether or not he fuses on his turn. If he fuses, he's off to the races. If not, he's stuttering around until he gets there.
So the interesting bit here is obviously we've got 4 Starvo, but there is 1 mirror match. So the likelihood of us seeing a Starvo in the final is still quite high, but it could get knocked down a peg or 2. Yeah. I think it'd be big to see if Mikey on Dash can knock out Starvo.
Yeah, but we saw Nathan draw his second game, and he still made it into the cut. So he's done really well. So a draw or a loss doesn't matter. Just carry on playing. Play through your lines, play well, and you can still make it into the top cut.
Yeah, and we saw obviously Dan Collett earlier.
Yeah.
there was a few missed triggers, so potentially he could come back really strong in this game. But we know Francesco's pedigree on Guardian.
Yeah, he's a really good player. He won Southampton yesterday. He's travelled 3.5 hours to get here after playing late. Last night in Southampton. Beginning of the week, he was travelling back from America. It's like this man needs little sleep and he can still perform.
There we are. So we will get our top cut underway shortly. These are runtime rounds, so there may be a little bit of a break in between those rounds, depending upon which ones we have on stream. And the fact that we've got the 2 Stavers, that might be a bit of a drawn out one. Depends whether they're fatiguing or.
Well, it depends who fires off first, isn't it? If they can fire and carry on firing on their Starvo triggers, then that'll be pretty quick. I am recording Francesco's game versus Daniel. That'll be on my channel, Pastor Bard, next week. We'll get that up. Okay, so there'll be more games to follow.
Well, stay tuned for the top 8 to follow shortly, and we will be back with you soon. Okay, welcome back. Thank you for joining us throughout the day. Obviously, you're not normally used to seeing us so early at the end of the final. Due to a long day, Nathan has decided to concede. So we do have a winner. Francesco Giorgio has won. That is a full sweep for the weekend from him. So we'll be getting him on shortly to open his prize. Yep. But a pretty rough day, I think, for everybody.
It's been good. I mean, we knew Starvo was going to be quite popular. Out of the UK, this is probably the most popular event that Starvo's been on in this, for Proquest Season 2. 50% conversion rate into top 8. So he's still a good pick. If you want a PTI, why not take Starvo? You know what I mean? But is Chain really the one that you want to go against Starvo? We saw Francesco, sorry, mate. Just sit there and block out. It wasn't really a game at the end of the day. It was just like, it just made it look easy.
Yeah, he's a case of how long he actually goes out. So let's get Francesco on so he can open his prize, and then we'll be back shortly just to close out. So give us a sec.
Congratulations to Nathan, second and PTI winner. Well done, mate. We'll get them both on. Sure. Right, no. Are we going to do it on that one? All right, sorry. No, Francesco, we go. I know you're tired, mate, but we're doing it over here. Francesco, we're doing it over here. Sorry, mate. You filming it? Okay, good. Well done. Congratulations. Righty. Okay, goal foil time.
Oh,
You've left it over there. We're doing it here. It's all right. We're a bit on the fly. So, right. Here we go.
all right.
No drum rolls. Do we need them?
It's not this was.
I think. Now, you didn't unwrap your one yesterday, did you?
No, not
You
yet.
have no idea what your other goal foil is. What? Before you open it, what do you hope it is?
Again, I don't know what it can be. Can it be Rosetta Thorn?
I don't know.
Rosetta Thorn would be probably.
One for all the
Not gonna be
magpies.
easy.
Well, this is
There we go.
The tension is palpable.
Got that.
Oh, is that the back?
it's upside down.
Yeah, that's the back of it.
Oh. The band one.
Well done. Well done, fella. So, have you found the day? How tired are you?
A bit tired, yes.
Yeah.
I can go home early.
So, have you found the whole day? I mean, it's your first time in Manascrew, to the shop.
Yeah, it was a
and
great
to the
tournament.
meetings.
Very well run. Well, good organizer, good judging, and the whole setup amazing again. So had fun.
Brilliant. And hopefully we should see you very soon. Are you at Living Realms? Are you doing any more?
No, just the Saturday in York.
So not far away. If you're going to York, there's still, what's that, 4 hours?
I
you love
had
to travel.
admitted from the start. So if I knew I would win, I wouldn't have gone. But now I have to take my.
We'll just do a B&B, and then, Living Realms is not that much further, but you're waiting for someone to drop in here. So if you are at York, beware, Francesco. He doesn't need much sleep, he'll kick your ass.
All right.
Well, then we'll close out.
Do you want to take these bits? These are all the bits to go with it. Yeah, cool. Nice. Don't leave those bits.
Yeah, you want to keep all those.
Yeah, someone might want that black envelope.
So apologies there. We were a little bit disorganised. Obviously, we was expecting the final to go ahead, but it's been a long day for everybody.
Yeah, these things happen.
We've got a lot of players that have travelled obviously from yesterday from Southampton, so there's a lot of long miles on everybody that's gone out there. So as always, thank you for sticking with us and staying true to the stream. I know there's a lot of people who've been watching throughout, dipping in and out. And you may have heard us earlier, we will be back in a week's time. We will be at Living Realms for their Proquest.
Indeed, yeah. We should be, Heart of Fab. Let's, I think it's 64 players, around 64 players for their Proquest. So that is going to be hotly contested. Who gets Living Realms Proquest 2?
Yeah, as Bo's always said, it's probably the Proquest to get hold of.
It's total bragging right. Yeah. Win a Living Realms would be the biggest one for the UK. Yeah, who wouldn't want to win it?
So we'll be back in a week. So I will be popping that up live, hopefully in the next day or two. So check that out, set a reminder so you can jump on for that one. But a massive thank you to Mark. He's standing right there, got to say it, for hosting today. It's been great being down in the store again and for a big event such as today. So it's good for that to be in the local store, which is great.
It's nice to be back at Manascrew.
It is. So more events at Manascrew. So
Plug.
yeah. Look, I think everybody's had a really good day. It's been well attended throughout, and I think everybody's enjoyed themselves, us included.
There will be on my channel, Baz the Bard. I will have a top 8 and a top cut. So we've got Francesco versus Daniel Collett, so that's Briar versus Starvo, and then there is the mirror of Joe Stamper versus Nathan Hills. So that'll be coming out in the next couple of days.
Yeah, and as always, we will break down all of the games from today. Stay tuned to the channel. If you haven't done so already, give us a like and a subscribe. Like and subscribe to this man here. He does great work. And we will catch you shortly, like I say, in a week's time.
Yeah.
Take care. Yeah, take care.